Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well and everything's going okay for you. Just a reminder, midweek this Wednesday, 7:30 on Zoom, and Steve Burton, we hope will be joining us, and we'll be having another conversation as we did last week with Pat. So just seeing how things are going with them, what things are like for them in another part of the world, dealing with COVID and all of that, and also just a chance to chat and see how they are. So that's Wednesday at 7:30. The code is in the newsletter. If you would like it, I will, and you don't have the newsletter, I will send that to you if you get in touch with me. We're reading this morning from Mark chapter 13 and beginning at verse 1. And as he came out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Look, teacher, what wonderful stones and what wonderful buildings." Jesus said to him, "Do you see these great buildings? There will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter and James, John and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when all these things are about to be accomplished?" And Jesus began to say to them, "See that no one leads you astray. Many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and they will lead many astray. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. This must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places, there will be famines. These are but the beginning of the birth pains. But be on your guard, for they will deliver you over to councils, you will be beaten in synagogues, and you will stand before governors and kings for my sake to bear witness before them. And the gospel must first be proclaimed to all nations. And when they bring you to trial and deliver you over, do not be anxious beforehand what you are to say, but say whatever is given you in that hour, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. And brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child, and children will rise against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved." As the disciples and Jesus come away from the temple courts for the last time, the disciples just look around them and wonder at the beauty of the buildings that they are leaving. And I suppose we've all experienced that from time to time. We've seen a particularly magnificent building, and we've thought, this is incredible. This is an amazing place. I think of somewhere like Palace of Versailles outside Paris, or the US Capitol building, which of course was in the news a few weeks ago, and just the magnificence of those buildings. On the one hand, a palace like Versailles, built purely for the honour and glory of one man, Louis XIV. On the other, the US Capitol building, a great symbol of democracy. And here, the temple that these disciples are leaving, which was supposed to be the symbol of God dwelling with his people, was supposed to be the symbol of how people could come to God, how God could bring people to himself, but which has become, in Jesus' time, the symbol of what gets in the way of getting to know God, of the barriers that are put up from getting to know God. At the end of the day, buildings, bricks and stones don't mean very much, but what we do with them and what we use them for does matter. The buildings themselves won't last, but the purposes for which they're used might last forever. It is God's kingdom ultimately that lasts forever. It is what he is building that will last forever. But what the disciples have to understand, and what Jesus takes time here to help them to understand, is that it's not coming fully yet. His entrance into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday does not mean that God's kingdom is coming in all its fullness soon. The kingdom is at hand, as he has said from the very beginning of the gospel. The kingdom is at hand, here and now, in Jesus. While the king is with you, the kingdom is here. But the kingdom is not yet here in all its fullness. And so for that reason, there will continue to be wars and rumours of wars, earthquakes and famines, and yes, even pandemics. And so what are we to do? On the one hand, we know the kingdom has come in Jesus. On the other hand, we know that it's not fully here yet. And we're still waiting. We are living between the times, between the time of Jesus' first coming, when he brings the kingdom into the world, the time of his second coming, when the kingdom comes in all its fullness. We are between those times. So what are we to do? Well, we're to pay attention to the truth of the gospel, Jesus says. Do not be led astray by people coming and saying, I am he. Pay attention to the truth of the gospel. Don't be led astray by false messages or false messiahs. Be on your guard. The gospel message is never popular, especially with the powerful. We saw that from the rich young ruler yesterday in church. Those who are powerful, those who are wealthy, find the gospel difficult. And that message is not popular. And sometimes it's not just that they walk away sad. Sometimes they will hate us for the gospel message. It's not popular. So be on your guard, because there will be trouble. And bear witness. Be ready to speak out in faith, even in difficult circumstances, trusting God, the Holy Spirit, to give you words to say. So when somebody gives you a hard time at school for being a Christian, when somebody gives you a hard time at work or in the office, when your neighbour dismisses your faith entirely, take a moment and pray. Ask God to give you the words to say, to speak into that. Times will be hard. People will hurt you and betray you. Sometimes, Jesus says, it will be your own family members. But you have him with you. Listen well to the gospel of grace. Watch out, both for the challenges to the gospel and the opportunities that are presented for you to share it. Speak up when you're given the opportunity, and let God speak through you. And persevere to the end. Keep holding on to him, because it is worth it. God bless.